This hearing of the Watertown Licensing Board is in session. It is Thursday, August 20th, 2020, 7:15 p.m. I am Donna Doucette, and I will be presiding over the hearing this evening. Assisting me are board members Sandra Kasabian-Hoffman and John Labadini. Assisting us are Licensing Board Clerk Julie O'Neill and Attorney David Dineski. And I believe we do not have a representative from the police department here tonight. We just have their written recommendations. Is that correct, Julie?
Yes.
Okay. Per the governor's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law to avoid group congregations, this meeting is being held via remote online technology as posted by the town on the agenda publicized for this meeting. There are 4 ways to participate: by observing via cable TV, by joining this meeting online or by telephone, and prior to this hearing, by sending a written comment to be read at the appropriate time during the hearing. Note that as with in-person meetings, public comments and applicant presentations are limited to specific times during the hearing. At those times, in order to comment, you will click your raise your hand icon if you wish to comment, and our meeting monitor will unmute each person in order. By the same token, you will also be muted unless you are an applicant, and at the appropriate time when we ask or when we hear that particular application during the hearing, that at that point your audio also will be turned on. So we will begin with the July minutes. Sandra and John, do you have any amendments, changes, or questions regarding the written July minutes that you received? Sandra?
I do not.
John?
I do not either. Thank
Okay.
you.
The minutes stand approved as written, and they will be signed at some point when I'm allowed back in town hall. The first item on the agenda is Sullivan Tire, 21 North Beacon Street. This is a request for a 1-day extension of hours. Julie, would you read the ad, please?
It's a 1-day, so we didn't do it as an ad. It's just for him. I spoke to David. We didn't need to do.
Okay, it's a special 1-day extension of hours. Okay, do we have a representative from Sullivan Tire here?
Yep, there he is.
Okay, if you will identify yourself for the record and tell us why you are requesting this and what your plans are for the day.
My name is Michael Fleischman. I'm the manager of Sullivan Tire on 21 North Beacon Street. We are requesting to be open from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Sunday, the 30th. 3 employees, that's including myself.
Okay, for what purpose?
It's a tax-free weekend. We're having a special sale weekend, so that's what we're looking to do for the tire sale.
Okay, and you will be only selling, you will not be doing any other work on that day, or do you plan to install tires?
Yep, they'll be installing tires and any mechanical work.
Okay. Ms. Kasabian-Hoffman, do you have any questions for the applicant?
Just what are the hours you're planning to be open on that Sunday?
9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Labadini, do you have any questions for the applicant?
I do not.
Okay. Are there any questions from the public regarding this application for a 1-day extension of hours for Sullivan Tire? There being none, I will read the recommendations from the various town departments. Building, fire, and zoning have no comment. Health Department has no objection, and the police department recommendation is as follows. The department has investigated the applicant's request and has no objection to the extension of hours for the state tax-free weekend, provided the following be stipulated on the license. The date will be Sunday, August 30th, 2020. The hours will be 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. as requested. All other stipulations of the previously issued license shall remain the same. Ms. Kasabian-Hoffman, I will take a recommendation on this.
I'll make a recommendation to approve the one-day Sunday license extension for Sullivan Tire at 21 North Beacon Street for Sunday, August 30th, 2020, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., subject to the recommendation of the police department.
Thank you. Mr. Labadini?
I concur. Everything Sandra just said. Thank you.
I do also. Thank you, Mr. Fleischman. I sell a lot of tires.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate everyone.
Next item on the agenda is Arsenal Yards, 130 Arsenal Yards Boulevard. There's actually two requests from them. Both are entertainment licenses. We will deal first with the live music on the River Green, a request for this to occur from August through October. Ms. O'Neill, is there an ad for this one?
No.
Okay. And if, I believe it is Alexi who is representing, or am I wrong?
No, it's Jessica Reed.
Jessica Reed, okay. Oh, it's Alexi's iPad. I'm bouncing between a chat and the actual people on the screen, so I apologize. Ms. Reed, will you please talk about the application and who you are and what this covers?
Yes, absolutely. So my name's Jessica Reed. I'm the marketing director for Arsenal Yards. And I was actually hoping if I could share my screen to walk through the programming. Is that possible?
Sure, yes. The host is Town of Watertown. I presume you're paying attention. Would you please allow Jess to share her screen? I think you've got the option of doing that now, Jessica.
Great. All right. Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. All right. So stemming off of the success of the Pedals to the Metal, which was our piano campaign, we're here to discuss two different additional programming that are both supportive of our retailers and also safe and for the community to experience. And I just want to say thank you for the support of the pianos. They were extremely well received. They really enhanced the experience on site, and we were thrilled to work with some really wonderful artists for New Rep and Berkeley, and even some Watertown local artists. So if we go first into the live music in the River Green. So in an effort to support our new restaurant openings, Frank Pepe just opened. We also have City Works and of course Shake Shack and Chipotle, and provide a safe and fun, inviting atmosphere to our community. We'd like to launch an outdoor picnic series that's featuring a variety of family-friendly music talent. We have made some adjustments since submitting the application based on monitoring COVID-19 regulations and making sure that these experiences are safe and comfortable for all parties involved, which we'll go through now. So first for the schedule, the Thursdays would be from 6 to 8 p.m. with the Soul Monsters. And then on Fridays, they would be even more heavily family focused, smaller programming with Jeff Jam, who is a local children's performer, as well as Stacy Peasley. And then Josh Schreiber is from Josh and the Jam Tones, who's actually a really popular kids band, well known in the area. One note, the Josh performance, that 3 to 4 p.m. is outside of the application time. With kids going back to school, we just wanted to offer one time that was a little later in the afternoon for Josh. So the maximum capacity for all of the events is 48 people. This includes the performers and the event staff. There will be check-in, which is required upon entrance, and each group will be assigned a designated social distance spot in the event area. All guests will be required to wear a mask, and hand sanitizer will be available. We will have masks on hand in case anyone needs one at any time, because that is a requirement. Reservations will also be required. Because we have such limited capacity, we are asking for a small donation to a local Watertown organization to reserve their spot. We are only allowing a maximum of 4 people per party in the reservation. So here we have the map of the area. There are 22 available reservation options as noted by the blue squares. All are separated at a minimum of 6 feet. In many cases, it's up to 10 feet apart. There will be a maximum of 4 people per square, which would be in one reservation, one family. However, we will not exceed 48 people in the total event area. That 48 people is based on the 8 per 1,000 square foot rule regulation set by Massachusetts guidelines. The event area would be blocked off and managed by an on-site check-in process. The event will be staffed the entirety of the event to make sure all of these regulations, rules are adhered to.
Let me ask you, interrupt you just for a couple of questions to clarify
Absolutely.
what I'm seeing on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
I see yellow markings, which I presume are the area that you've designated for this entertainment. Is there
Correct.
anything that prevents people outside those markings from wandering up and congregating in clumps that are closer than the required social distancing?
So we will have stanchions that outline that yellow area. There's fence on 2 sides of it, and the other area will have stanchions. So that blocks people from entering except our designated entrance and exit area. The area to the right of the event area, that line, that is a walkway to Shake Shack. There's not a congregating area out there. That is just walking to Shake Shack to their patio and back out. Once you get further to the right, that is the sidewalk area, but we are monitoring, we're blocking off so people cannot congregate right on the outside of that.
What about to the left of what I'm seeing, where you've got 124 feet 7 inches marked off?
That is actually construction fencing. So to the
Okay.
left of that is, yeah, it's all
So it's
under
not a
construction.
place where people could congregate?
No.
All right. Another question, again, related on the diagram I'm seeing. What if I want to go and I'm an individual person? I make my reservation just for me. You're going to put me in one of those squares, or are you going to put me in one corner of the squares and let 3 other unrelated people into that? And are those squares actually, can you actually maintain social distancing within the squares?
Mm-hmm. So there is only one family, one reservation per square. So if you are a single person who would like to attend, you will get your own square. You're not going to be put with anyone else outside of your reservation. So if it's one person or 2 people, yeah.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Since I interrupted, Sandra or John, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them at this point. Otherwise, we'll proceed.
I do. Nothing important. Well, so I just got a pizza from Pepe's today. Where in relation to where you drive up and pick your pizza is this land I'm looking at?
So this area is right in front of Shake Shack. Shake Shack is actually where you see that 6-foot marker on the right-hand side. To get to Pepe's, you would cross the road. And when you cross the road, it would take you to the sidewalk that leads to Ben & Jerry's. So you take a quick left, and that is where Pepe's and also the entrance to CityWorks is as well.
So the theater's east?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. I just was curious about traffic. That's good.
Thank you for that clarification. Sandra, anything?
Not now.
Okay. Go ahead, Jessica.
Sure. So I was just saying that it will be blocked off and it'll be staffed the entirety of the event. So on here, I just have some of the COVID requirements that I discussed, and we're committed to continually watching these rules and regulations and making sure that this event series is safe during the entirety of the event series, and we're willing to make any adjustments and adaptations over the course that we need to, depending on how the situation evolves. So I'm happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Well, it's not a question, it is an observation. And actually, it is a question based on, you mentioned that you have had great success with the piano campaign. Did you encounter any problems with people refusing to wear face masks and claiming what one would presume?
Asthma or something, yeah.
Yeah, claiming asthma, but you know darn good and well they've, well, know that. Did you encounter any problems with the stipulations and the requirements?
We did not, no. Everyone was very open to those rules and those regulations, and we did not encounter any issues.
Okay, am I correct that I recall you do have security available for these events?
Correct. We do have security on site 24/7, and they're stationed in the area during these events. We also will have event staff for all of the events during the entirety of the event.
Okay. On the question of the entertainment license and live music in the River Green as just outlined for us, does anyone from the public have a question or comment related to this application? If not, I will proceed with department recommendations. Building has no comment, fire no comment, zoning no comment. The health department notes that the events at Arsenal Yards have a limit of 50, so there should be someone maintaining head counts and overseeing social distancing. Spaces should be marked and face coverings are required at all times per the governor's order. And as we have just heard, all of those stipulations have been taken into account, including the requirement that people make reservations beforehand. Subject to your, this is the police department report. Subject to your approval, this department has no objection to the applicant's request for an entertainment license for live music on the River Green space to be held on Thursdays, August 27, September 24, and October 29 from 5 to 8 p.m. and Fridays, August 28th, September 25, and October 30th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., provided that the following restrictions are adhered to. 1, the activities shall be restricted to the property of Arsenal Yards, the River Green space. 2, adequate adult supervision shall be maintained at all times. 3, all patrons shall not create unreasonable conduct and or excessive noise. 4, any music shall be kept at a reasonable and unobtrusive level at all times. 5, no alcoholic beverages shall be sold or consumed on the property during this event. Number 6, the hours for the outdoor festivities are restricted to 5 to 10 p.m., 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., and 7, rain dates shall be scheduled as requested. As was noted by Ms. Reed in her presentation, there is a limitation to this, and we may want it to take it into account in our consideration, and that is that one of the events is scheduled for 3 p.m. so that a school-age crowd can be accommodated better on that date. So with that in mind, Mr. Labadini, I will take a recommendation.
I recommend, based on everything I've heard in the police report and whatnot, I recommend we proceed and favorably allow this.
Thank you. Ms. Kasabian Hoffman?
I agree. So, and subject to what the health department has also included as a stipulation.
Thank you. I also agree. Ms. Reed, will you now go to, and I will read this again, the request for an entertainment license again for August through September, a DJ for outdoor fitness classes.
Thank you very much. So for our outdoor fitness series, in an effort to provide a safe and comfortable atmosphere for the community to experience some of their favorite fitness studios or potentially try a new one, we would like to host an outdoor fitness series in partnership with a variety of studios in the area. Likewise, we are continuing to monitor the COVID-19 regulations as it applies to these classes and want to make sure it's a safe experience for all parties involved. So for the DJ schedule, our original application dates were Tuesday and Thursday evenings from 5:30 to 6 p.m. On the application, we also had mornings. We are not going to be having a DJ during the mornings. However, we have received a huge interest in participating in this event series from local fitness studios in Watertown that we'd love to be able to accommodate them if possible. So if it's possible, we'd love to add Monday and Wednesday evenings, same exact time under the same stipulation. So it would be Monday through Thursday evenings from 5:30 to 6 p.m. The fitness studios that have shown interest and we'd love to work with are Gymit, Get Lively, Boston Ballroom, Yoga Works, Artemis Yoga, CrossFit, all out of Watertown, and then also Kick Up by Eliza, who's well known in the greater Boston area.
Okay, and this is the same setup as before or different?
Same setup. So the social distance squares there's 23 reservation spots available. Reservations will be required. The squares are separated by at least 6 feet, sometimes up to 10 feet apart from each other. Masks will be required for all attendees and hand sanitizer will be provided. We will also have masks on hand if anyone needs one at any time. Each person will be designated their own social distance spot. The class will be capped at 23 guests. It'll be 25 people with the DJ and the instructor. The area will be blocked very similar to the music, and it will be managed by a check-in process. There will also be on-site staff for the entirety of the event as well.
Do you envision having a single studio do 2 days or in a row, or you mixing and matching every day?
Yeah, so the plan would be to have each studio have their own day. So Artemis Yoga, for example, would have every Monday. Gymit would have every Tuesday. Kick Up by Eliza would have every Wednesday. And so they would have that same day from 5:30 to 6 p.m. for the four or five dates in the series.
Okay, but you've got more than 5 people participating, don't you?
So we're still in talks, and some of them are combining. So Get Lively and Boston Ballroom, for example, they're combining and doing a class together. So we're still in conversation with what makes sense with their schedule. That's just a list of people who are interested in partnering with us on it.
So the final list might be different.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Labadini, do you have any questions for the applicant?
I don't, but I do have a question for Mr. Dineski as a point of clarification. David, are you there?
Yes.
So just pardon my newness. If I sit on a board with one of the people doing that's listed there, that's not rising to the level of recusal, I take it.
You're on a nonprofit board with someone who participates or has an interest in one of these companies?
One of the participants I sit on a board with, but I don't think it's going to cloud my how I weigh in on this. I just, I'd rather put it on the, I thought I should mention it.
And it's a non-profit board that you're on
Yes,
with this other person?
yes.
I don't see any financial interest in the fact that you disclosed it now publicly. I would deem acceptable for you to act on this application.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Sandra, do you have any questions for Ms. Reed regarding the application?
Yeah, I have one question about the size of the squares there. Since these participants are going to be moving around, I just wanted to make sure the squares that each one is on is big enough to allow them to remain on their square and not encroach closer to another participant.
Yep, the squares are each 6 feet by 6 feet. So it's a good amount of space to move. Also, the instructors will base their class around the fact that people are within that space. So they're not going to be running or doing anything that would have them move outside of their space. They'll build the classes within these restrictions.
Thank you.
Ms. Reed, are you finished? I see you've got one more page in this presentation.
This is, again, just some of the
okay.
requirements that we discussed. Yeah.
Okay, I realized that we had perhaps interrupted you.
Not a problem.
Okay, are there any further questions from the board?
I don't have any.
I have actually a question. Can we just verify the days and hours that she's doing? Because I want to make sure I have it correct.
Okay.
So because she keeps saying 6, we have till 6:30, and are we dropping the morning class?
We're correct.
Yeah, I got Monday through Friday, 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, Monday through Thursday, I'm sorry.
Through Thursday, 5:30 to 6:30.
Okay, and we're dropping the morning.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Kasabian Hoffman. Well, no, wait. First, zoning. Let's see, building, fire, and zoning have no comments. The health department essentially repeated the previous one, that events have a limits of 50. Someone must maintain the head counts and oversee social distancing, mark the spaces, and have face coverings at all times. The police department recommendation is that, hold on, let me make sure I'm reading the correct one. Yes, I think they have different hours based on the previous ones, but subject to your approval, this department has no objection to the applicant's request for an entertainment license for a DJ for outdoor fitness classes to be held on Tuesdays, August 25, September 1, September 8, September 15, September 22, and Thursdays, August 27, September 3rd, September 10, September 17, from 9 to 10 a.m. or 5:30 to 6 p.m. on the river green space or the top level of the parking deck, provided that the following restrictions are adhered to. 1, the activities shall be restricted to the property of Arsenal Yards, the river green space. 2, adequate adult supervision shall be maintained at all times. 3, all patrons shall not create unreasonable conduct and or excessive noise. 4, any music shall be kept at a reasonable and unobtrusive level at all times. 5, no alcoholic beverages shall be sold and or consumed on the property during this event. 6, the hours for the outdoor festivities are restricted to 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Item 7, rain dates shall be scheduled as requested. Now, one of the things I note here, and I did not note it on the previous one, it's interesting how when you read something through enough times, different things strike you. But the particular one here was the no alcoholic beverages. Because we have restaurants that are doing a lot of pickup business and takeout business. And because the state now permits restaurants to sell liquor to go during this particular COVID emergency situation, we have a situation where people can be exiting some of these restaurants near the River Green space with food and liquor. Now, I presume if you're going to a fitness class, you're not going to be bringing in food and liquor. But, and we've already granted the permit for it for the previous one. But is this one of the things that your people will be monitoring as people arrive at the space and seek to be allowed into the space they've reserved?
Absolutely. That is something that will 100% be monitored, and no alcohol is on premise for either of these events.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Labadini, well, is it your turn? Yes, Mr. Labadini,
Yeah.
I will take a
So,
recommendation.
Based on the comments from the Board of Health, the fire, the zoning, and the police comments, and everything I've heard, I vote to proceed and grant this request.
Okay, Ms. Kasabian-Hoffman, would you add to that the days and hours that you specifically pointed out?
Yes, should I name every date? Or
Well,
say dates in August, September, and September, right?
September.
Monday, through Thursday
Mhm.
in August and September?
I think October is also mentioned.
Not for this one. This one's just August and September.
August and September.
Monday
Okay.
through Thursday, August through September, starting August 25th, ending on September 24th from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m.
Okay, thank you. And I also agree. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you can stop your screen sharing and we are back. The next item on the agenda is Citywide Livery LLC doing business as Gigi's Pizza Company, 129 Waltham Street, a request for a new common victualler license. Ms. O'Neill, would you please read the ad?
Notice is hereby given under Chapter 140 of the General Laws as amended that Citywide Livery LLC, doing business as Gigi's Pizza Company, is applying for a new common victualler license to be located at 129 Waltham Street, Watertown, Massachusetts. Description of premise: first floor consisting of 1,100 square feet with front and rear entrances, basement storage 350 square feet. A 10-seat window counter is proposed. Hours of operation, Monday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Hearing on this application will be held on Thursday, August 20th, 2020 at 7:15 p.m. via Zoom.
Thank you. Do we have all of the abutter notifications that are needed for this application?
We do. We have all 8 out of 8.
Okay, thank you. We will proceed. If the applicant will identify themselves and describe the request.
Hi, good evening. My name is Alexis Georginis, and I am the owner of Citywide Livery LLC. We're looking to open up Gigi's Pizza Company in the existing space of Cugini's Deli. We'll be offering pretty much the same menu. The only difference is we're going to bring in pizza. So we're going to have pizza, subs, calzones, delivery, salads, pretty much your mom and pop pizza place.
Okay. Ms. Kasabian-Hoffman, do you have any questions?
Only that, do you have to install a pizza oven?
Yes. We've already through that with the Board of Health, and they were actually on site the other day, actually yesterday, with the plan, with the review plan, And Raj was there with his boss, and they gave us the green light on that.
That's good. And one other question, have you, what's your experience with running a business?
Oh, I grew up in the restaurant business, so I have over 20 years experience in the restaurant business. For the last 6 years, I've been a business owner in Watertown, operating a limo company. So we're just expanding back into the to the restaurant business.
And will you have family on site helping you out?
My wife will be there, but we plan to hire employees. There's no other way to do it. We need employees.
Thank you.
Mr. Labadini, your questions?
I do. So having been familiar with Cugini's, it sounded like everything is indeed the same. The addition would be the ability to deliver, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and is that Grubhub, or are you going to offer delivery yourself? And you know, the cars on Waltham Street pulling up, pulling away. Just any comments on that? I'd like to hear.
We are going to have our own delivery drivers. We will be using services as Grubhub, Uber Eats, any other platform, but with our drivers. I think with the Uber Eats, I don't know if we can use our drivers. We might have to use their drivers, but we want to keep everything in-house just to keep track of the safety and security measures with our own personnel.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments from the public regarding this application? There being none?
Can I just make a comment?
Sure.
There was an error with the seating, so we're gonna keep it the same. So we're gonna approve at the 6 seating, not the 10.
Is there 6 or 8 in there? I think, I don't know. Whatever's in there now.
We're gonna keep this license as before.
Okay, that's perfectly fine.
Okay, so 6 seats rather than 10.
Mm-hmm.
The building, fire, and zoning have no comment, which one should expect because it's taking over an existing facility. Health Department notes that the applicant must provide a plan review application and food permit applications to the Health Department. Plan review must be received 30 days prior to the start of the work. I trust this has been accomplished since you mentioned the Health Department already coming in. Is that correct?
Yes, they were actually there yesterday.
Okay. The Police Department recommendation. The department has investigated the applicant's request for a common victualler license and has no objection, provided the following is stipulated on the license. Description of premises is as follows. First floor, approximately 1,100 square feet, front and rear entrance with public bathroom, and 350 square feet of basement level storage. Seating capacity shall be 6 as submitted on the plot plan. The hours of operation shall be Monday through Sunday, 11 a.m. until 10 p.m., and there shall be no alcoholic beverages on the premises. Ms. Kasabian-Hoffman, I'll take a recommendation.
Yeah, I'll make a recommendation to approve the new common victualler license to Citywide Delivery LLC, doing business as Gigi's Pizza Company, 129 Waltham Street, subject to the recommendations of the Health Department and the Police Department.
Thank you. Mr. Labadini?
I concur. I to proceed as well.
I also agree. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Next item is the Pequasset Area number 1928, Fraternal Order of Eagles, new officers and directors. We are in receipt of a letter from Mr. Kenneth Leitner, who is the attorney for the Pequasset Area number 1928. As you may know, this office represents Pequasset Area number 1928 of the Fraternal Order of Eagles. The applicant has a matter scheduled before the licensing board for a change of officers. Request is made to continue the hearing for the change of officers on the above referenced matter to the September 2020 agenda. The reason for the request is that counsel is unavailable as he must bring his son to college on Thursday, August 20, outside of Massachusetts, and does not know what time he will be able to return in the day. This had been scheduled for Wednesday, August 19, until this past Monday, August 17, when the schedule was unilaterally changed by the university. Thank you for consideration of this request. I wonder if Mr. Leitner was ever able to make delivery of his son. God bless them. Is it acceptable to Ms. Kasabian-Hoffman and Mr. Labadini to continue this matter to the September 17 board hearing? Is that correct, Julie? September 17?
Yes.
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 Ms. Kasabian-Hoffman is in favor. Mr. Labadini?
Yes, that's acceptable as well.
Okay. I am also in favor, but I do have a question, Ms. O'Neill. Is this change of officers related to the requirement that by February, all of the fraternal organizations and social clubs submit a current list of their officers to the board and through us to the state? Or is this a separate change of officers?
This is a separate change of officers.
Okay, thank you. I asked this question because if it is indeed the same as the February requirement, I would request a different type of letter and different type of wording for Mr. Dineski when he sends the letter of continuance. But since it is not the same matter, if you will, then as I said, I agree with the postponement until September 20th.
September 17th.
17th, sorry. The last item on the agenda, I believe, is comments by the board clerk. Ms. O'Neill, do you have any?
I do not.
And by the police department, who obviously do not. Mr. Dineski, do you have any comments you'd like to make?
I do not, Madam Chair.
Okay,
Can I ask a question?
sure.
I know that the governor allows for the extension of the service of alcohol on licensed premises to areas that are not normally included on the license until, is it November 1st, 2020?
Yes.
So my question is, so those licensed premises, the alcohol licensed premises that have not opened at all since March, not at all for any takeout, not at all for any, for any outside dining, just have been completely closed the entire time, but have not indicated that they're closing for good. What happens with those licenses? Like, can they just remain the way they are until the COVID situation is all done, or?
I suspect there may be some guidance that would be issued by the ABCC, but I can't imagine that those who've chosen not to open for either economic or safety reasons would be subject to denial of renewal on that basis.
Okay, because we will be looking at renewals in the
In November.
Right.
And I think it's Stellina's that has already indicated they're going to close.
Yeah, they're gonna close.
Yeah.
But there's another one that hasn't opened at all.
Mhm.
Not even for takeout, not for anything since
Yeah.
March.
So we might have a lot of empty restaurant storefronts come November.
Mhm.
So I believe, well, that's a restaurant, the people who had a fire on Galen Street and then they opened up over on the east end, they're out of business as well. But that's just a bakery and sit down luncheon type place. So restaurant rather than liquor service type. Okay, if there being no further business to be conducted, this hearing is adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.